The Saab 900 has been with us for 20 years, 2 generations that produced over 1 million cars and some surprises. I drove in a one-make series for them. My sometimes teammate was Damon Hill, and I even won a few races. While the later version broke all sorts of records, lapping the Talladega Speedway at over 140 miles an hour.
You will be queen.
But now its days are numbered. Its replacement, the 9.3, has arrived to complete Saab's new look lineup and sit alongside the 9.5.
However, having said replacement, the old actually looks exactly the same as the new. Indeed, the only changes are different bumpers, front and rear, and a snazzy new grille to match that of the 9.5. Ah yes, and its neat new badge. However, it's under the skin that Saab claim to have made over 1,000 alterations and improvements. But that's not one of them. The reverse gear lock stays. Mind you, that doesn't bother me too much because I normally leave my cars parked in gear.
As well as the 5-door and 3-door saloons, there's a new drop top as well. Not surprising when you learn that last year the 900 outsold both BMW and Audi in the convertible market.
We can be heroes.
Let's go round again. Maybe we'll turn back the hands of time. Let's go round again.
To be honest, even on the inside, it's hard to see where all these changes are. The instrument panel looks exactly the same as that on the old 900. In fact, these air vents are the same. However, the 9.3 has inherited a few bits and bobs from the 9.5. There's a wider, more comfortable seat. The information panel has been upgraded, and there are side airbags all round as standard across the range. One feature I really do like is this anti-whiplash head restraint, which, when your body is pushed back on an impact, actually moves forward to stop your head being thrown back.
There are 3 equipment levels. The basic 9.3 starts at £16,500 for the 130 horsepower 2-litre. Then the 9.3S adds a few goodies, plus the option to go for the 150 horsepower 2.3 or the 185 brake turbo. While if you want bits of wood and leather trim, you'll have to spend over £20,000 and go for the SE.
Oh yes, and did I forget to mention that on all 3 equipment levels you can now have Saab's first ever diesel engine, a 115 horsepower 2.2 litre turbo unit. I did? Good. I hate diesels. In fact, it's amazing to think how quickly Saab seem to have lost any sporting image that they once had. It seems like only a few years ago that the old-shaped Saab 900 Turbo was all the rage amongst the trendy, enthusiastic driving set. But now, all that's gone. From the driver's point of view, this new 9.3 even feels very much like the old 900. True, there is a new hydraulic clutch which lessens the effort required to use it, and the suspension has been tinkered with to reduce understeer and increase general stability. Ride and handling are indeed very good. But whatever all these 1,000 improvements are supposed to have done, a Saab is a Saab is a Saab.
Nothing revolutionary, nothing to get too excited about, but a good, solid, sensible car. Indeed, to many, this is Saab's forte. They have a customer loyalty that is second only to Mercedes. Nearly 80% of their owners will come back for another. So the fact that the 9.3 is more of an image facelift than an all-new car will probably make them very happy indeed.
Fancy some of that Swedish solidity, but haven't got the wedge for a new 9.3? Easy.
You need one of these.
A car with an image so immaculate it could hold confession and communion. The Saab 900, the car that nice people drive.
You think I'm generalizing, don't you? But it's true. 900s are driven by upright, decent professional types who cherish them, service their Saabs on the dot, and don't drive like psychopaths, which is why they make stonking second-hand buys.
Like this spotless J-Reg 900i 16 valve, just run in at 120,000 miles, it'll do the same again without even pausing for breath. Instant respectability for £3,000. For a bit of discreet mischief, go for the turbo. The 16-valve 900 often comes with air, leather and heated seats. Group 17 means high insurance, but used prices are lower than you think. This 89F cost $3,500. Dearer but much more desirable is the 900 convertible. You can have a normal 16-valve or the 175 brake turbo ragtop. Best bet is the blown 16-valve S, and batting starts at around $7,000. This is the slowest depreciating 900 of them all.
Now it's solid, solid as a rock.
You get a brilliant heater, cavernous boot, crisp front-wheel drive handling, and the sort of build quality that would give a British shop steward a heart attack. Which is why the trade call the Saab 900 the Rock of Ages.
Solid as a rock.
This is a vehicle that we actually sold 13 years ago. It's now done 232,000 miles and has had 2 owners. We see probably 3 or 4 a year like this. The 100,000 mile plus car is very, very common. They are very well put together. Build quality is extremely high. I've never seen one with structural rust. And the components that go into the cars, the engines and the gearboxes, are quite literally bomb-proof.
I've had this car for about 2 years. It's done 226,000. Well, I've paid just over £1,500 for it, and I've spent £300 except for the services.
I've owned the car 10 years. It's now done 254,000, and I get a great deal of pleasure out of the car. It does a lot of things well. Carries a great deal. Goes well. It's a car that stands out from the masses. I took the car down to Goodwood. The car had done 190,000 at the time, and spent the whole day racing around Goodwood Circuit using all the revs, and I had a great deal of fun.
3 years ago I bought this for £3,500. It's done 129,000 miles. It's got leather, cruise control, it's got all the luxuries I need, and it's just built like a tank, and I love it.
"900s may be built like concrete bunkers, but after 10 trips around the world, even a Saab's entitled to a little bit of wear and tear."
Gearboxes can give up the unequal struggle at around 200,000. Listen for a whining noise like dying dogs in 3rd and 5th. And if your handbrake reaches to the roof, it could mean neglected rear brakes, and you could be letting yourself in for a couple of new calipers. Power steering is standard on all 900s, but the rack goes out to lunch every 100,000 or so. And engines will need a timing chain every 70,000. Listen for the telltale death rattle from the top end.
And if you fancy a turbo, and why not, here's a nice A-Reg for just 1,500 quid, you need to try the Wilson wallet test. To check if your turbo is fit, get the engine running hot, and then boot the throttle as hard as you can. And if it spews out white smoke at the back, you know your turbo's kippered.
A 900 can easily cover 400,000 miles as long as it's been cosseted, so always make sure you've got one of these nestling in the glove box. A full service history is worth an easy 500 quid extra.
So what's the catch? Well, 900s may be a bit hard riding. The rear legroom may not be terribly generous, but the most serious black mark against the car is pricey main agent servicing, which is why you need to come to an independent like this.
Because your garage bills will be a lot easier to bear. Around £40 for a 6,000 mile service, 110 for the 12,000, and for the big 24,000 mile job, it'll be 215 quid.
As far as parts goes, it is an urban myth that Saab parts are viciously expensive. Let me demonstrate. This is a genuine Saab air filter for a 900. That would cost you £13. If you wanted one for your Cavalier 1.8L, it would cost you £12. A genuine Saab Oil filter. Here, £4.98 for your Vauxhall Cavalier